Go in, gosh dang it. I hope you like doing, no. Glad that fell after I talked about it. I'm, no. Hey fellow fiction fanatics, I'm Chase. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am super excited because I am doing my first ever bookshelf tour. So I'll link the video where I explain how I organize, tab, and rate my books down in the description box. So I'll be showing you all my series, standalones, and my TBR cart, as well as all the knickknacks that are on my shelves. For my series, I will not be pulling out books individually, but I will show you the first book in the series. Alright, let's get into it. So we're gonna start in the top left corner over here. This is my Pittacus lore shelf. So we start with the Lorien Legacies. The first book is I Am Number 4 by Pittacus Lore. This is a fantastic series that I really love. And then we have The Lost Files, which is a collection of novellas. If you want to know just these characters' perspectives, then just read the Lorien Legacies. But if you want to know the full story and really connect the dots better and just see everything that happens, definitely read these novellas along with it. Then we have the Lorien Legacies Reborn. This is a continuation of the Lorien Legacies, and I have not finished this yet, but I'm wanting to reread this whole series and get to it soon. And then we have little Olivia Elephant here. I think she is adorable and I love her so much. Then up here we have the Ranger's Apprentice series. The first book is The Ruins of Gorlon by John Flanagan. Then we have the Throne of Glass series. And although the first book is The Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, I'd actually recommend starting with The Assassin's Blade because this tells how Selena ended up in the salt mines and gives you more backstory as well as important characters you meet later on. And some characters you wouldn't know about otherwise. And I especially love both this book and this series. Then I have this beautiful edition of The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. This is a collection of all 7 books and I think it's gorgeous. Then on this shelf we have the Harry Potter series and then the Lunar Chronicles. The first book is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This also has 2 short stories, Fairest and Stars Above. Fairest tells Levana's story, and in this case she is the evil queen. This book definitely tells you how evil this character really is and how she was involved in so many things. And then Stars Above, although the first couple stories are mainly just backstory and not exactly necessary to the whole series, I do really love the last book in this novella collection because it is essentially an epilogue of what happens after winter, and I love it very much. Then we have The Land of Stories. The first book is The Wishing Spell by Chris Colfer. Now on to my Rick Riordan shelf. Over here we have the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series, the first book being The Lightning Thief. Then we have The Heroes of Olympus, and in that the first book is The Lost Hero. Then we have the Trials of Apollo series. The first one is The Hidden Oracle. Then I have the Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard trilogy. The first book is The Sword of Summer. And lastly, I have the Kane Chronicles, the first book being The Red Pyramid. And then up top here, I have the companion collections to these books. The first one is the Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Demigod Files. This book is actually quite important to the series, and I would recommend reading it between the Battle of the Labyrinth and The Last Olympian. Then I have the Demigod Diaries. This is just a collection of fun short stories that I really enjoyed and would recommend reading after The Lost Hero, although it does take place prior to that. And then last but certainly not least is Demigods and Magician. This is where Percy and Annabeth meet both Sadie and Carter Kane. So you definitely have to read the Percy Jackson series as well as the Kane Chronicles to know about these characters and see their interaction. But I absolutely loved this one. Then over here we're starting with the Summoner series by Taran Matharu. If you want to read this series in publication order, you would start with The Novice. But if you want to read it in chronological order, you would start with The Outcast, which is a prequel to the events that happen within the Summoner trilogy. Then we have the Paper Magician series by Charlie N. Holmberg. The first book is The Paper Magician, and this series is interesting because the first 3 books focus on Sione and her adventures, and then the last book is years later and follows a different character entirely, but you do see some cameos from our favorite characters in the first 3 books. Then over here is one of my favorite series of all time. It is the series that got me into reading, and that is The Books of Bayern by Shannon Hale. The first book being The Goose Girl. So I'm gonna go on a little side tangent here and tell you why I have a hodgepodge collection of different editions of this series. I originally had the first 3 in this edition here. By the time I was able to buy the 4th one, they had switched to this edition here with the people on the covers. I usually hate when people are on the cover, but I actually really like how this one is done because it's not just a person, it actually has a full background and actually tells a lot about the story once you've read it. But pretty much all the other books in this edition I do not like because they don't resemble the characters in my mind whatsoever. And then somehow I lost this 3rd book, and by the time I was able to get this one again, they had switched the covers once more to this style here, which I much prefer over the people, and I kind of love that I have all these different editions. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next up we have the Illuminae files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. The first one is Illuminae. Then I have the Arc of the Scythe trilogy. The first one is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. Then over here I have the Truly Devious trilogy by Maureen Johnson. The first book is Truly Devious. And the last books on my series shelf are The Strange the Dreamer duology by Laini Taylor. The first book is Strange the Dreamer. Alright, on to my standalone shelf. The first book I have here is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. My Lady Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Dear Evan Hansen by Val Emmich, Stephen Levison, Benji Pasek, and Justin Paul. The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott, Mickey Daughtry, and Tobias Iaconis. Wonder by R.J. Policio. Queens of Geek by Jen Wild. Dear Martin by Nick Stone. The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. Never Forever by L.R. Johnson. Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. Geekarella by Ashley Poston. And then I have this gorgeous edition of Holes by Louis Sakar. And lastly, we have here my one and only mass market paperback of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. And then over here we have my non-fiction books, and on top of them we have Little Scrump from Lilo and Stitch. We have Chicken Soup for the Kid's Soul by a number of different authors. Deaf Again by Mark Drozelbaum, and Mastering Our Mountains by a number of different authors, including myself. This shelf here is my graphic novel and eventually mangas. As you can see, it's pretty bare because I've only really started getting into those. But so far I have Nimona by Noelle Stevenson, Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks, Little Moments of Love, a Katana Comics collection by Katana Chetwin, and Strange Planet by Nathan W. Pyle. On this shelf I also have the guest book to our wedding and a cute little stress ball Cowardly Lion that I got when my sister was doing The Wizard of Oz. And on this shelf I have my college diploma and my graduation cap that I actually wore to my high school graduation instead of the normal cap because I love Disney just that much. On this shelf I have my Chase Road and Supergirl Street signs and some pictures that I have just had over the years, and I'm being really silly in this one. Here is where I have some children's books that I will eventually give to my future children. And then over here I have my collection of gift cards. I would love to know if you want to see a flip through of all the gift cards that I have. So let me know in the comments down below. On this shelf here I have books that I have read but are part of a series that is not complete yet, so I don't own all the books as of yet. So on this shelf we have Children of Blood and Bone and Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. These are the first 2 books in the Children of Orisha series. I think it's a trilogy, but I'm not quite sure. Then I have Once Upon a Spine by Kate Carlisle. This just so happens to be the 11th book in a series. I had no idea about this going into it, but I am excited to read the rest of the series. Then I have Ruby After the Fall by E.C. Myers, which is what happens after the fall of Beacon. And then I have the first 2 books in the Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend. The first one is Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow, and the second one is Wondersmith, The Calling of Morrigan Crow. These books are really cool and fantastical and just unlike anything else I've ever read. and they do get pretty dark, which is surprising for a middle grade series. And then I have this cute little St. Jude box that was given to me. For those who don't know, I am a cancer survivor, and I was treated at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. And this box came with these pins. So I have the Day 1 Survivor pin, 5-year Survivor pin, and the 10-year Survivor pin. And I also have the Survivor pins for both 2018 and 2019. And then lastly, we have here Peepers McJeepers. So I have a phobia of birds, especially ostriches, and my mom thought it would be funny to give me this little guy to help me get over my fear. And as you can see, he's rainbow colored. So I pretend this is what happens when a stork flies through the rainbow when they're trying to deliver a baby. And this last shelf here is where I house the book boxes for book sets that I've gotten in the past. And here we have my TBR cart. So this first row here, I have some books that I'm hoping to get to very soon, as well as my box of bookmarks. I love bookmarks, and I actually collect both bookmarks and gift cards. So let me know if you'd like to see a video of me showing both my bookmark collection and my gift card collection, which I have over here. And then my second shelf here, I'm not gonna pull out each of these, but the first one is the Gravity Falls Journal. Then we have The Sunshine Sisters by Jane Green, Furyborn by Claire Legrand, House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig, Eliza and Her Monsters by Francisca Zappia, The Loose Ends List by Carrie Firestone, A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness, The Robe by Lloyd C. Douglas, Legend by Mary Lou, Ruby Before the Dawn, and The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. On this last shelf here, I have books that I need to read other books before I can read these. Flamecaster by Cindy Williams Chima, Out of the Shadows from the Legacy Chronicles, The Return to Zero from the Lorien Legacies Reborn, and Wayfarer by Alexandra Bracken. And that's my TBR cart. Alright, on to my knickknacks. So on the top shelf here we have some stuffed animals, and over here we have Angel from the Lilo and Stitch TV series. I have Angel and my sister has Stitch. Then we have Usu-chan from Ouran High School Host Club. Then Spike from My Little Pony. These two little guys are Marshmallow and Peanut. My cousins got them for me and I think they're adorable. And then here we have Nala, Simba, and Toothless. This is my Achieve sign. So I actually earned each of these while going through my cancer treatments. I earned the first 3 during my 6 weeks of radiation and the last 4 for my 4 months of chemotherapy. On the left is a Writers Award that I won, and on the right is the Salt Lake City LDS Temple, which is where my husband and I were married. On the left is a cute little figurine and one of my favorite pictures of Jesus Christ. On the right here we have a trophy that my husband and I won on our honeymoon. And here we have cute little mini Funko Pops of Maleficent and Woody. And this is actually a gift card holder in the shape of a book, and it's so fitting for me. Here is the wonderful mug that my friend Michael made me. I absolutely love it to pieces. And inside here are a few of my metal bookmarks. Then I have my TBR mugs, starting with Dory on the left, and Mickey and his buddy Pluto on the right. Then there's a Scrump mug. As you can tell, I really love Lilo and Stitch. And then I have my Harry Potter mug that I got at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So my mom collects Pez dispensers, and she got me these cute little Luna and Dobby Pez, as well as Ron and Harry while they're wearing the sorting hat. Here is Hedwig and little mini Harry and Fang. And then I have this beautiful artist rendition of Hogwarts. I got this when I went to Comic-Con, and I absolutely adore it. And then here I have these adorable Stranger Things tabs that my sister gave to me, but they are just too cute to use, so I keep them here on my shelves. And then here I have a little 20 questions Harry Potter ball that is supposed to be a snitch. It used to have some plastic wings that you could attach to it, but I have absolutely no idea where those have gone to. And this is really fun to play. Now on to some more stuffed animals. I have little Leo here on the left and Mickey and Minnie on the right. And then here we have little Garnet and Steven from Steven Universe. Here is Dr. Hooves and Final Scratch from My Little Pony. This little guy here is Sir Tubkins the Brave and Oliver. And last but certainly not least is Butterscotch on the left and Lahedji on the right. And here's a quick overview of my shelves. I really love them and I think all these books are so great. Alright, so those are all the books on my bookshelves. I hope you like seeing this. I really enjoyed doing this. I'd love to know what books you have on your shelves and how you organize your books. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to share the love. I'll see you next time. Bye!